The first album comes out.
Right.
And it does its thing.
Yep.
So then Coast to Coast comes out second. So first of all, 21 and over, is that just a straightforward, we're the Alkaholiks, 21 and over?
That's what we was
making the music for, man. Grown folk, like people that
yeah.
can responsible, that, you know.
We was living up to the image too, though.
Right.
we was like party boys. We weren't here to fight and all that shit.
Right.
But at the same time, in the back of our head, we was always aware that our name was gonna cause us a couple issues.
Okay, and we'll get to that part.
So, yeah.
So then the second album comes out, Coast to Coast. Now, what was the reason behind the name?
From what we said, we were on the road constantly, and we didn't feel like, because even that East Coast, West Coast thing was kind of starting up even back then, and we didn't feel we were a part of that. So we were just like, we can go coast to coast, down south, Midwest, East Coast, wherever. A lot of people didn't know where we were from, actually. People from LA and Cali got it immediately, but other people to this day say, man, I thought you guys was from Philly or New York or something.
What borough you from?
Yeah, because I guess like the lyrics and the flow could have been a New York flow.
And the beats like was mostly like
sampled beats.
Samples.
Yeah.
They wasn't doing that on the East Coast.
Yeah. There was no synthesizers or anything else like that.
We just stayed away from that because we even have songs from our demos where we're using like more bounce and stuff. But when everyone started using it, we made sure that we didn't use really none of that, because even though we love, like, funk is all three of our favorite music, actually.
Hands down.
Right.
And but we purposely stayed away from it and was like, we're gonna come up with our own sound and show people what the whole hip hop thing is about. So Coast to Coast was more like, you know, it pretty much solidified that. Like, we're showing you what hip hop is, and it doesn't matter where you from. We're from Cali, but we ain't just going crazy about it, you know.
And then on Coast to Coast, which had one of my favorite singles from you guys, which was Damn. And that was just like a nuclear bomb that dropped, I felt.
That's
you know what I mean?
Liquid funk. See, it's like a funky thing, but it's not too East Coast, it's not really West Coast typical. You know what I'm saying? It's like in the middle, kind of like.
Yeah, it didn't have a regional sound to it.
Right.
That's what I meant.
And and you did the beat,
I did.
Swift?
I did.
Incredible
That would be
beat.
me again. Thank you.
Incredible beat.
I helped you with all that shit.
I always get input from my guys. I always run it through them first. Anything I would make, I'd be like, yo, what y'all think?
I'll be slipping some.
Right. But you guys had some outside production on that album, right?
Yeah.
Was it Diamond D?
Diamond D.
Next Level, right?
Yep, Next Level.
Pharrell.
One of our best friends to this day.
Pharrell. What was Pharrell, that album or the next album?
No.
Oh, you talking about one? I thought you meant in general.
No.
And
Okay,
Madlib was definitely
Madlib too.
You know, shout out to Madlib.
Yeah, he doing
and
his
Luke
thing
Pack.
right now.
You know, we recognize talent, man, and so we, you know, if they had something that fit what we were doing, we was always open and letting them, you know, doing something with them. So.
And then I think Damn was when Exhibit kind of got introduced.
That's Yeah.
Well,
he had came out on the loop.
Freestyle
Ghetto.
Oh yeah, right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But as far as through us, that was like solidifying. That's right when he got into our clique and things were going well for him. You know, got him his record deal and so forth and so on. So we was like, let's introduce the new Liquid Crew member. There he goes.
So the second album comes out. How does it do?
Second album did well too. It did pretty well.
Back then we was doing like 390.
Yeah, back then
that's not even counting overseas.
We're selling a lot of
remember how long it
singles.
took to add it up? We probably gold right now. We don't know the shit. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's still.
It did good.
It did good.
But what really changed, you know, by the time you guys had your sophomore album?
What changed? I think we were becoming more successful. So like, even though we was going in the studio, still doing the same thing we was doing from the first album, we was a little more trying to be a little more strategic. You know, like we had a purpose. Like we were like, all right, you know, that sophomore jinx shit. We was trying not to get, you know, we was just trying to come with some heat, really.
Yeah.
I know personally, I tried to step it up the second album because I always say this shit. King T, nigga, he kind of climbed me a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Was it Tila or was it
It was Tila. It was Tila. I remember
yeah.
like it was at your pop's career
Yeah.
and shit. Tila pulled me to the side after the 21 was blowing up and everything. It was going into this next album. I said, what should I do? What should I, you know what I'm saying? We just talking shit, you know what I'm saying? He said, whatever you do, step your lyrics up because J-Ro housed you on the first album. And shit, and I'm sitting there like, this nigga know I'm saying. He straight told me
took
that
that
and
to the
everything.
heart,
I
man.
took that shit so
He
fucked
did.
up. Like, I ain't gonna lie, man. I just said, all right. And I went like somewhere and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I grabbed my pen and pad right then. I
Yeah.
said,
He
nobody.
beached it out on
It
that
was like the
second
most humbling. What's the word for it?
Yeah, humbling.
Yeah, that's
You
what
don't
I'm
know
saying.
to
Because I
this
thought it
day.
was big shit right there. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? It's like,
You don't know to this
it's that
day
he
he
whack.
he was joking with you.
Oh, he was just fucking with you.
All the war shit.
I mean,
But
just
I really wrote like double time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like if
yeah.
I used to write like an hour, I spent like 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? And try to get words that niggas ain't used and shit. You know what I'm saying? I can tell myself I stepped up lyrics.
You did.
You know, they. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I felt
love
both of
that.
y'all always held your own. Like, I don't think I really had a favorite rapper in the Alkaholiks. I felt like,
Everybody say that. Like,
yeah, I mean, honestly, you know what I mean? Because you look at Wu-Tang and people have a favorite rapper. You look
There's
at,
only 2 of us though. That's 10. You know what I'm saying?
well, you look
People have a
at
favorite
Tribe
rapper.
Called Quest. Most people say Q-Tip.
That's a tie though. That's a Fight Dog was busting. Rest in peace, Fight.
Yeah, rest in peace, Fight. But I think most people still like Q-Tip better.
That was different though.
Yeah. So the second album comes out. How does that one do?
I did well. Second album.
Yep.
Yep, it was good. I mean, we got to go on our first major tour with Tribe and De La. We
Nice.
were opening up for them for that album campaign. So that was monumental.
All right. So the second album comes out, does well again, because these are all solid albums.
Yeah.
These are all solid albums that are coming out. So it comes out, it does well. Damn was the first single. What were the other singles?
Damn.
Next Level.
Next Level.
And
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane.
No, that's
that
the
was first
first,
album.
first
See,
album.
don't ask me none of these old questions, man. There's a lot of partying going
Was
on
it
back
only
then,
2
man. I'm trying to tell
singles?
you.
Did we
I might give you the wrong info.
release?
I think those were the only 2 singles off.
Yeah,
Okay.
Next Level. And Hip Hop Junkies.
The third album was
Liquidation.
Liquidation. Right. And that had the ODB song on
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hip Hop Junkies.
Hip Hop Drunkies.